Hi, welcome to Common Sense Creation. Common Sense Creation is a channel that presents to you the reasons why I believe in God. I have to say that the evidence is circumstantial, but it's still evidence. If you like what we discuss on this channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you don't miss anything that we put out. Recently, I was watching a video, and it was a preacher that was talking to a professor, a science professor. And the question was, do you believe in intelligent design? And this professor says, certainly not. And I found that hilarious. I really found that hilarious, and I'll tell you why. Have you ever considered the human body, how magnificent it is, how it's built, what it does, what it's capable of doing, the checks and balances that it has? Have you ever considered that? If you're on the fence about whether or not there's a God, I challenge you to do some homework and really look at how things are put together and then ask yourself, is this an accident or is this Almighty God? The reason why we have so many people saying, no, I don't believe in an intelligent designer is this. They are taking God out of the equation. And when you take God out of the equation and suddenly you don't have the divine builder, the divine creator, you don't have that. So it's got to happen by accident, but yet they have not been able to explain that away. They're still looking for that. Whereas if they considered an intelligent designer, I think they could prove a heck of a lot more. So, anyways, I just want to talk about the body. I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to touch on everything because there's just so much here. So, anyways, have you ever thought about your consciousness, your spirit, why you're able to be here, why you're able to see and hear and have emotions? You can't make that happen by accident. I mean, that's your soul, and I refuse to believe that that happened by accident too. That happened by some strange mutation. Okay. And what about the skin covering our bodies? It can do remarkable things. Number one, it can repair itself. It'll grow back. It may scar, but it heals itself. Um, I mean, unless you're slit open by a butcher, but you get a little cut, it'll heal. Uh, and also, it keeps microbes from coming into your body, germs. It keeps a lot of this stuff out. So it acts like a protective barrier that envelopes your body. Um, Also, whenever you are cold, you start to shiver. And what that does is that's the body's way of generating heat. On the other side of the coin, when you're hot, you start to sweat. And that cools your body by evaporation. Okay. So just those couple checks and balances right there. How can you say that, well, that just happened by accident? It looks like intelligence there because, well, if you're cold, you're going to shiver. If you're hot, you're going to sweat. The checks and balances. Okay. Now, what about your eyes? Your eyes can do great things. It lets in light, it attempts to keep out light. For instance, when you experience something that puts you in the fight or flight mode and your pupils will dilate. And why it does that is because it lets in more light. So if you had to fight, the body is letting in as much light as possible so that you can be successful in your fight. When you look at a very bright light, what does your pupils do? They constrict. Well, why do they constrict? To let in less light so you don't hurt yourself. Okay, more checks and balances. Did it happen by accident? No, I'm afraid not. You have a lens in your eye, and if you can't see far away, you squint. And what that does is it changes the shape, it bends the lens, and it's kind of like zeroing in, so you can see at a distance. Okay. What about your nose? Okay, some of us were blessed more than others, but in your nose, you take in air so that it can go to the lungs, go to the heart, and oxygenate the body, enrich the body. But have you noticed that you got nose hair? And the reason being for that is that's a dust filter. Okay, that's so you don't suck all this stuff up your nose. That's why there's hair in your nostrils. So that was put there for a reason, and you can't tell me that that happened by chance. Okay, happened by chance. What about your mouth? The taste buds on your tongue. How about when you run, you can't breathe through your nose? You got to open up your mouth because it provides a bigger airway, okay, so that you can breathe. I don't believe that happened by accident. Also, whenever you eat food or drink water, the minute you swallow, your epiglottis flaps over your trachea so that you don't choke to death. Okay, happened by chance? Looks like a design to me. Uh, your lungs that's able to do the gas exchange so that you can have the correct amount of oxygen in your body. What about your heart? Your heart pumps this air out. Now, this is something remarkable about the heart and the lungs. The blood that comes back from your body comes through the veins. It's coming back to the body. And it comes into the right atrium. Now, the right side of the heart pumps this blood into the lungs. It oxygenates, comes back in, and then goes out to the body via the arteries. Okay, it's a little bit too complicated to say, well, that just happened by chance. Okay, and the heart, if you are in fear or if you're going to exercise or whatever, your heart speeds up. Well, why does it speed up? To make sure that your tissues get enough oxygen so that you don't pass out or pass away. Now, the heart is something great, and I've noticed this all my years on the ambulance, that your God-given pacemaker, to be correct about it, your SA node. It's in your atrium. Now, your atrium, the SA node, has an intrinsic heart rate between 60 to 100. That's normal. But now, if your atriums fail, well, you have a backup. The AV junction takes over. A little bit slower rate, but the AV junction takes over. And if that fails, well, you're in deep trouble. But your heart will attempt to stay alive by the ventricles, much slower rate. But your heart will continue to try to survive. Okay? Happened by accident? No, I don't believe it. And what about your digestive system, for instance? You eat, you swallow. Again, doesn't it just goes down the correct pipe because the epiglottis closes off that trachea, goes into your stomach, and through the digestive system, and I'm just going to be brief, but through the digestive system, that's where it sucks out the nutrients that it needs and disposes of what it doesn't need. Now, your large intestine, your colon, uh, whenever you're getting ready to excrete what you don't need, it sucks in water out of the body so that you can make stool, so that you can eliminate the bad stuff that the body does not need. What about your liver? You know, your liver filters your blood. It will break down, it'll detox the drugs or chemicals that may be harmful to the body. Or your kidneys. Your kidneys is a great thing because it filters your blood, okay, and your kidneys helps to maintain your pH balance. It maintains your electrolyte balance, and electrolytes are very important. You don't want to get those all out of whack because you can have heart arrhythmia and you can have death if it's severe enough, okay. But your kidneys filters everything out, eliminates the rest. Um, and so you find that is to be, well, no, that happened by chance. That just happens. I mean, can you see the checks and balances, okay, that are in the body? Now, you're not going to tell me that chance just did that. That looks far too intelligent. Now, I've only scratched the surface. You can certainly study this in deeper and see, but the body is such an amazing work of art. And then not just our body, but what about the animal bodies? They have checks and balances. You ever take a puppy and toss it into a swimming pool? It swims. Nobody taught it to swim, but it swims. That happened by accident? I can go on and on and on, okay, but I don't want to make the videos too long. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop right there. But I challenge you. I mean, if you're on the fence about, well, geez, is there a God? Is there really proof? Or study the body. I mean, study all the organs in the body. And then ask yourself, my gosh, did this just happen? Or did it look like it was built? I mean, you walk past a beautiful house, it'd be ludicrous to say there was no carpenter. Sure, there was. Look at the work of art. And you look at the human body and say, well, there's no God. I don't know. I mean, for me, that proves the magnificence. That proves that there is an eternal God. Okay. So um, think about that. Please think about that because you got to get right with Jesus. You got to get right with God. Okay. Because your eternal soul depends on it. Okay. Like I said, if you have a comment, please leave them below and let's discuss it. Let's not call each other names and you're closed-minded, yada 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 yada. Okay, we don't need to do that. Let's discuss it and and go from there. Okay. Well, thank you for watching today, and it's a beautiful day outside in Western Pennsylvania. So if you see this today, don't watch this video till later. Go outside and enjoy the sun. Okay. And in the meantime, thank you for watching me. God bless you. And I'll talk.